excited, though.
They got the updated voices. Oh, my gosh. I just broke my microphone there. But, yes, we've got our updated voices. If you want to see me holding my mic manually with no adjustment, we're also live on YouTube as well, Dalton.
Heck yeah. 502-414-1450, 502-414-1450 to get any thoughts in pregame on the Gameday Men's Health text line. You have any thoughts about the Georgia Tech Senior Day victory? Seems like the reactions are pretty polarizingly different. We're going to discuss everything you need to know about tonight's game, whether or not it is a must-win for your Cardinals. We'll take a look at some current up-to-date bracketology and much more. It's a key week here for Louisville. Let's do a little bit of recapping before we get into tonight's preview. Louisville got the senior day victory. I was about to say senior night, but the game was at 2 o'clock. What do y'all think about that? Like, you know how it's like, oh, well, tonight's game, and it's like, dude, it's 12:30. Have you seen that where it's like the Cards are on fire tonight, but it's like 1:30 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just it feels very technical to me. I don't know. Old man yells at cloud vibes, maybe?
I think so. A little bit. There's probably a little bit there.
Your early onset Republican kicking in there.
A little bit of quad 3 haircut kicking on the radio today.
Listen, it's definitely the quad 2 right now. I'm hoping that Louisville can pick up the quad 1, but Louisville picked up a quad 4 on Saturday. It was, on paper, the easiest team that Louisville will have played at all in the ACC.
We all know that bigger number means better win.
I wish it was like that. But Georgia Tech is, who the metrics believe, the worst team in the conference. You beat them by 17. You didn't cover the spread. You beat them by 17. It seems like there's two schools of thought that I'm seeing from the fan base. There's one side that's like, okay, you beat a conference team by 17 on senior day. I'm chilling. I'm cool. And then there's another portion of this fan base that says, yeah, you won by 17, but it was against a team that is not good. They're consistently getting blown out. And what we saw in that game wasn't necessarily encouraging. Now, I've got a take, but I want to hear from you all first. What were the vibes like at about 4 o'clock on Saturday? Were you feeling good about where Louisville was, or you're like, man, what I was hoping to see just wasn't there?
Roman?
Go ahead, Matt. I'm still struggling here with this microphone.
My fault.
What did you do to the microphone?
I completely broke it. You'll have to get on the YouTube. I can't even explain it here.
I can't even explain.
It's not on the post at all.
Did you just go straight haymaker?
The mic's got around 5:30 every Monday here on the Big X. The temperature on these microphones seems to raise a bit, and I got a little overwhelmed with it here today. Yanked it off.
Yanked it off. Okay. Well, honestly,
sir, this is a Wendy's.
There were a few moments in that game that I felt Louisville felt a little overwhelmed because look, I know the discourse on Twitter.
Are we just going to keep taking things in and transition into the conversation?
I know the discourse on Twitter. I mean, Matt McGavick was a part of it as well. I feel like he was kind of
Who? I'm just playing.
I was like, what?
That's my buddy.
I was like, I feel like he was kind of the spearhead for a lot of this discussion all weekend was, yes, 17-point win against a conference opponent, especially after what we used to see. I'm not going to really take it for granted, but gosh, I could not feel more angry after that win. I felt I said this point on Running with Ron. I'll make it again on your show as well. We've seen guys like Evan Maekawa all year talk about, hey, what teams can win it? The field is kind of open right now. The 4 seeds are locked in, but outside of that, there's a lot of opportunity. A statistic they've brought up multiple times this season in terms of teams that can really do some damage in March and are finishing their opponents early are teams that are getting the kill shots, in quotations, which is if you go on a 10-0 run in a game, that's listed as a kill shot no matter what time you're at. We allowed Georgia Tech to go on 2 12-0 runs in this game against easily the worst team in the conference metric-wise, and if you're looking just off vibes, they just looked like they were struggling at points defensively and offensively. We would get up to about a 22-point lead, and you didn't even take your foot off the gas pedal. You just stopped driving the car. I physically don't understand. I get we won by 17. I get the offensive efficiency was pretty good, but 2 12-0 runs to Georgia Tech is I don't care if we won by 45. I'm still pissed off about that.
I'm using that moving forward. You didn't even take your foot off the gas pedal. You just stopped driving the car.
You did. It was horrendous.
I think they were going through the motions a little bit. I think, and this is just my perspective, it looked like a team that knew they were likely going to blow this team out. And even with the 2 large runs, I still didn't feel like Louisville was ever at danger of losing this game.
No.
I think 2 things are true at one time. I agree with both parties here. Well, which one do you agree with? Yes, correct. That's the one. I think both of them are right in their own respects. I think that we've gotten to a point in society where we stop celebrating wins unless they're like signature wins or blowouts. And I think that we have to kind of go back to that point to an extent because, I mean, if you stop celebrating wins, what's the point of playing the game? Like, that's the point of sports, is to celebrate wins. But in the same respect, the standard is the standard. And don't let the result take away from what the standard should be.
After the previous to last year, the 2 years we had to endure of losing game that our rosters should be capable of winning over and over and over, we shouldn't be taking any form of a win for granted.
I saw Matt had a great point that he made. When Kenny Payne got fired, there were so many people like, oh, we're never taking winning for granted again. And here we are less than 24 months removed from that, and that's all people are doing. Like, I mean, and look, I get it. I'm going to mention here in a second how you all are right. If that's the portion of the fan base that you are with, then I don't think you're wrong. I just think that you're both right and you're both wrong. Because context matters. I think you need to celebrate every win. But to be very clear, if you have aspirations to being a team that goes on a run in the tournament, if you have a higher standard, Saturday's performance fell below that standard. You gave up 2 double-digit runs where your offense, I think, stalled out is understating it. Your offense just wasn't good. You turned the ball over almost 20 times against the worst team in the conference. Defense, you weren't great. And you should have beat this team by 40. Can we agree? Like, you beat them by 17. You should have won by 40. You were by 18 in the first half.
You should have been up 30 early.
You had an 18-point lead in the first half. They cut it to 6. Now you went on a weird 5-0 run to end the half to take a double-digit lead into intermission, but you then had a 23-plus point lead that was cut in half, more than cut in half. And, yeah, you won by 17, but I don't know. This game was supposed to be like the get-right opportunity, like get the vibes back on track, make some shots, get the crowd into it, and just feel good about yourself going into Monday. Now, granted, it might not mean a thing because the only thing that matters is what happens tonight. If you go out and you beat North Carolina on the road and give them their first home loss of the season, nobody's going to care about the Georgia Tech game. But if you go into Chapel Hill tonight and you lose by 10 to 15 points, people are going to say, well, here's the trend. It's been happening all year. You are who you are, and maybe it limits what you can do in March. That's what's either one thing's going to happen or another, right? One response is going to result from tonight's game. So I don't really think that this game in particular, talking about the Georgia Tech game, I don't think it matters, truthfully. Now, if Louisville were to win by like 3 points, I think you have to have a very real discussion. So if you want to say, you know what, I'm celebrating the victory and nothing else, that's fine. If you want to say, you know what, I can't celebrate this victory because we didn't play well, that's fine. I'm not going to gaslight you. I'm not going to tell you how to be a fan. I just think that the truth is in the middle. You celebrate the win, but you also understand that, hey, look, we weren't up to standard for where we should be as a team, and we need to be better, much better on Monday, because if you're not much better, a good chance you lose. That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. It's one where I agree with what you said earlier that this game should have been you didn't need to blow the team out by 40 or 50 points. You didn't need that, but I wanted to see a game where you could, in a way, get right or gain some more confidence moving into this really tough 2-game away stretch against UNC and then Clemson, where you went out there, you played efficient and well-balanced a defensive plan. You played efficient offense. You took good shots. If we did either of those two, or took care of the basketball, if we did either of those three things, like in unison, against a team that you should definitely easily be able to do that against, I don't care if it was a 12-point win. Maybe you catch Georgia Tech on a really good night. I would say, you know what, just like the SMU game, where I felt, you know what, we lost that game, but hey, I mean,
turnovers are an issue.
Exactly.
Like that might be the largest problem, right? Outside of defense, like just so many unforced turnovers.
Which is really surprising because at the beginning of the season, this team really kind of held like their head high on the fact that they play an unimaginable pace while also taking care of the basketball. That was their big thing, was we're going to speed you up, but we're going to beat you at that game because you're not going to turn us over. And I feel like ever since we've slowed the pace down, we look more panicky with the ball in our hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think that as good as Michael is and has been over the past couple of games, he also, it seems like, tries to force the issue a little bit too much. And with a higher usage, I think has resulted in a higher rate of turnovers. So I think for him to continue to get better throughout this season, the next step for that is to just limit the turnovers. And I'm not taking away anything that he's done, because he's done a lot of great stuff for Louisville, of course. It's just that some of these turnovers, I mean, you can't turn the ball over 6, 7, 8 times a game, right? You have to do a better job of maintaining the basketball. And it's not just him. Conwell has to do a better job of not turning the ball over. It's more frustrating because it seems like they're all unforced errors. Mm-hmm. Like you're just either throwing the ball out of bounds, or you're not making the right read, or you're trying to force the issue. And I understand playing fast, you're probably more prone to turning the ball over. But if you want to have a chance to make some noise in March, outside of defense, like that has to be what you focus on, taking care of the basketball, because your assist to turnover ratio should be what wins you games. Over the past couple of weeks, maybe it hasn't lost you many, but it definitely lost you that game against SMU, in my opinion. But before we get into the North Carolina preview, and we will at the beginning of the next hour, the NCAA showed their hand. And we wondered how they were going to move on Selection Sunday. We wondered what they were going to do, what they were going to prioritize, and they didn't really come out and say it. They did, but it was what they kept saying. We now know the metric that the NCAA is going to be prioritizing a lot on Selection Sunday. Did you all hear about this? The wins above bubble?
Wins above bubble, yeah.
Wins above bubble. Now, on last Thursday, it happens every year, they invite a select number of media members to Indianapolis for the annual convention. They have like a mock tournament committee. Basically, it happens every year. It's supposed to give the media insight on as to how things work on Selection Sunday. And something that was introduced back in 2024 was actually from Bart Torvik, who created the Torvik rankings, is wins above bubble. Now, the vice president of basketball for the NCAA, I think his name is Dan Gavitt, if I'm not mistaken. Dan Gavitt basically said that wins above bubble is one they're emphasizing, and he kept making it a point of emphasis to discuss that. So what is wins above bubble? Wins above bubble basically is like the number of wins a team has on its schedule compared to like what an average bubble team would do. I think that the average bubble team is like a net ranked 45th. So what would a bubble team do versus what you would do with your schedule? So it's like a 0 to 1 point system. If you beat a good team on the road, you get more points closer to 1, vice versa. So it's a fancy way of saying, who have you beaten? And that's not really the greatest news for Louisville, because at the moment, their best win is who? NC State at home? SMU at home?
I mean, you still have Kentucky at home.
That's not a good win right now. Cincinnati's a better win than that.
It's dwindling.
But I got to be honest. I actually, like, I'm okay with this. With this being one of the metrics that they prioritize. I do think it's wild that we're supposed to bring the net rankings into consideration. Like, they adopted the net rankings to do away with the RPI and make more of a universal ranking system. And now it's like, oh, well, that's actually not good for your that's not good to, like, compare resumes
You still got to go and beat these
Yeah,
opponents.
it's again,
it's them going back on their
what
word
makes me upset is the inconsistency of it all. We don't have a set rubric, but even though WAB is supposed to be a metric, it's not the metric. So, how much does it take impact over the net ranking? Well, currently, seems like Louisville is consistently being underseeded in bracketology. You would imagine if they're going to operate how they did last year, wins above bubble is key. That's what makes this week so critical as well.
Roman?
One aspect about it that just kind of makes me feel a little bit better, Dalton, is the fact that we do have a lot of opportunity here still ahead of us with just these handful of games. With tonight, Clemson, and Miami, you do have the opportunity to still go and make all of your metrics improve and get higher up in all of those lists because those are all teams right there at that mark or better. It's tough that it's all right at the same time, but you have the opportunity to go and take advantage of their new rule, basically, here at the end of your season.
Well, you can't blame anybody but yourself. You've had plenty of opportunities. I know your out-of-conference schedule has been kind of up and down, right? You can't help other teams that you beat being bad, like Kentucky or Memphis or Baylor.
Yeah.
But you've had ample opportunity to get those signature wins.
You had Arkansas.
You had Arkansas, Tennessee, Duke twice, Virginia at home, at SMU. Like, you've had ample opportunity. You just haven't played well.
Honestly, in my opinion, I'm already kind of done with the whole seeding discussion. Like, after what we saw last,
just getting started, man.
I'm just saying, like, after what we saw last year, we already know that it's going to be an issue this year. We haven't proven ourselves at all in these signature win categories. I mean, like you said, our best win's probably NC State, which, you know, it's still a good win, but it's one of those where I'm just glad that we're in at this moment.
I agree.
I don't care that I don't really care about worrying if we can possibly get to a 4. I don't care if we're going to drop to a 7. I don't care about any of that stuff. Last year, we almost went undefeated in conference play. And there was a question of, well, I mean, this team, if some things fall a different way, you know, might have an issue. And we thought that we were fully 3 to 5 seed lock and then get an 8 seed in the tournament.
What do you think would have happened had you actually, like, lost to Stanford in that opening game? Because I go back and think about that sometimes. I'm like, well, we were an 8 seed, and that's when you beat Stanford and you beat Clemson again. What happens if you would have lost to Stanford in that game? That's kind of one of those where you're like,
I don't even want to think about that because it probably wouldn't have been
well,
good.
11 seed maybe?
Probably.
10 seed?
And I hate to say it, but kind of rightfully so. I
don't know about rightfully so. Because then, like, do you just disregard the net rankings?
I mean,
like, do the net rankings not matter?
I'm just saying of what the
because
output that I saw.
If the net rankings don't matter, let's schedule 1 through 25 in the non-conference. And I mean, if you win 3 of those, well, hey, doesn't matter what we did. Look, hey, apparently that was their rationale for North Carolina being in the tournament last year was the wins above bubble. And their quad 1 record was not good.
They had one quad 1 win.
Hey, man. I'm just trying to make it seem like their AD being the tournament chair wasn't the reason that they got in.
But, hey, at least we had 2 tournament teams we beat instead of
1. I agree with what Roman said is that I'm not really worried right now because you have ample opportunity in front of you. I just need to see this team and Pat Kelsey actually take advantage of that opportunity just one time before I get any positive idea. Like, I need to see them go out there.
Do you think there's an asterisk on that tonight with no Caleb Wilson?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Fair.
I don't think at all.
Well, stage it for the top of the hour because I have a perfect segue into that. Right? So I think that there is a very real discussion about that, and there's a counter argument that I want to make, a point that I'll use as a rebuttal there.
That's where my brain's trying to go, and I need you to walk me off of that.
North Carolina's 15-0 at home. I mean,
yeah, only like 2 or 3 of those two of those games with Caleb, I believe, or without him. I'm sorry.
I don't think it matters. I think it's a significant win, whichever way you look at it.
I mean, it's one of those where
injuries happen, man.
Yeah,
unfortunately, and we do hope he has a fast and full recovery, right? I mean, you want to see him back ASAP because he's one of the best players in college basketball. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to save my point for the top of the hour, so I'm gonna tease that just a bit. Let me ask you all this though: how much if you're splitting hairs, like realistically, Louisville's anywhere from like a 4 to a 7. Like a really good end of the year puts you at like a 4. If you skid a little bit because of the quad 1 games, you might be like a 7, maybe an 8. How much does it realistically matter what seed Louisville is in your opinion? Because to me, I think you want to do everything you can to avoid the 1 seeds in the second round. Now, granted, you would have to win the first game, but I would hate to be an 8 seed. I think 8 seed spells disaster because you're probably going to play a pretty good 9 seed like you did last year. And if you win that, I mean, the 1 seeds this year are really tough, as they are every year. But
I'm thinking like
I want to avoid anything below a 7. Go ahead, Matt.
if for me it's like I'm like 10% worried. Like I said, I honestly just could not care.
you want us as a 10 seed?
I honestly could.
I
not,
would take a 10 seed over an 8 or 9.
probably. I really could not care about what our seed is at this point.
Then we
because
play a random 15 seed in the round of 32, and they beat us.
I'm just glad that we're in. 2, like I said, you have to win a tournament game this year. You have to. I'm already taken off. We got taken off the pedestal pretty early of the whole this Final Four national championship type team. I feel like we kind of are humbled in that sense already.
Yeah.
So like I'm taking this. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm taking it one game at a time. I need to see that this team and Pat Kelsey can prove to me that they can do something in March, and it's not just all this excitement building up. Because I got this weird gut feeling that I'm getting myself too excited before them actually proving to me it's worth anything.
I'm with you there, Matt. And this team's already shown this season statistically and against opponents that are right there on the cusp. But the expectation at minimum is to win a tournament game. At the very minimum, at least one.
Is that where your minds are at? Is like win a tournament game and you're good with anything after that, or are you like I still need second weekend, or is it like just depending on the draw?
I think you've earned a seeding to where the expectation should be the matchup you've got in the first round as a team you can beat, and then after that, I know it's all matchup based for the way this Louisville team currently sits.
I'm in like the current mind state to where I understand the standards a little higher, but just because we haven't seen a tournament win since 2017, I'm like, just get there first, and we'll talk about everything else the day after that or later on in the day. So I know that Louisville currently right now is a 6th seed in most brackets. Granted, bracketology doesn't mean much because everyone had Louisville at like a 5 or a 6, even a 4 at times, and they're like, oh, Louisville Cardinals, 8 seed. Oh, okay. First game of the tournament. I also would really like it if we just weren't the first game of the tournament because the past couple times we have been and we've lost, and I'm like, dude, I don't even want to watch basketball today.
I can't even. Did either of you all go to that game?
Oh, yeah.
Roman, did you go to that game?
I had Auburn and Creighton fans talking trash about Louisville, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Chose not to go to that.
I guess the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I was more like one. I mean, I felt like the team had really great. We're doing a first round of the tournament last year recap right now. Sorry about this, guys, but I felt like the team like fought back a lot in that game, and like there was like Chucky Hepburn had a great game.
It was just the bad start.
It was a bad start, but the part that was most disappointing was, oh my gosh, the amount of Louisville fans that drove down to Lexington and watched that game. I mean, it was so loud in there.
Oh, it was. Rupp Arena was red.
You just knew that if that team got off to like a start that like U of L versus Duke was this year with Ali Khalifa and Ryan Conway.
Oh no, yeah, they're not losing.
Exploded.
They're not losing that lead either.
It was just watching it from the start. I couldn't imagine. I was like, oh my gosh. There was 1,000 people inside the team's hotel waiting for them to walk out. All this stuff, and the whole build up to the game was just so much energy.
The setting was there for Louisville to win that game and then give Auburn their best shot on a Saturday, and they just look, man. Creighton was a bad matchup, and
Pat Kelsey got outcoached.
They had a guy go for 30.
I was going to say, outside of Kalkbrenner, they weren't even a terrible matchup. He just commanded everything down low.
They were a pretty good three-point shooting team, and Louisville's kryptonite was defending the three-point line. So I thought that there were some issues that got masked over by the fact that you went 18-2 in conference play. But looking back to this season and particularly this week, I think that a win tonight could jump Louisville a whole seed line because this is the quad 1A victory that you're looking for. I think a win over North Carolina, even without Caleb Wilson, I still think it looks really good on your resume because Carolina is a good team. Yeah, they've been kind of staying afloat without Caleb, but I still think that they're a quality opponent regardless. And Pat Kelsey can do a lot tonight in a couple different ways with a win. And we're going to start to preview the matchup. Everything you need to know coming up at the top of the hour. You're tuned into Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio.
Sunrise with Scoots.
Louisville, I'm just...
Top of the hour here on this February 23rd edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence on the Big X Sports Radio. Dalton, Roman, and Matt taking you up till game time tonight. Louisville and North Carolina down in Chapel Hill. 7 o'clock tip-off. Very short turnaround for both teams. Louisville going from playing at home to Chapel Hill. North Carolina going from playing on the road win over Syracuse on Saturday, to now traveling home and taking on the Cardinals. I would ask Roman and Matt a question, but Matt is, I guess, currently helping Roman with the microphone that Roman casually broke at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, we're figuring this out now. We may have just found a solution. I'm sending Matt back in there. I think I can figure this out with what he just helped me with. So,
do I dare say that the team is making adjustments? Is that what I'm hearing? Am I hearing that we're making adjustments? I can't hear your microphone.
Look, Big X will always adjust. We have our lapses. We have our issues, the things that we just can't go out there and change with our personnel. We're going to find ways to adjust and get the best out of it, no matter what.
Speaking of adjusting, Louisville is still searching for that quad 1A victory. They're still searching for that signature road victory on the season. If you don't know what quad 1A is, it's basically a win at home from 1 to 15, neutrals 1 to 25, road 1 to 40. So this is pretty safely a quad 1A opportunity. But I mentioned that Pat Kelsey could do himself a lot of favors in this game, because I've already seen Louisville fans starting to set it up a certain way, right? You're seeing the narratives out there. Well, remember that Duke game that you played on the road in Durham at the end of January? You get embarrassed. The whole take after that is Pat Kelsey the guy for this team, for this program? Well, they end up going on a 5-game winning streak, and criticism is subdued for the moment. You lose a very winnable game at SMU, where your defense was non-existent last week. That chatter decided to raise back up, and now it's at its all-time high again, because the opportunity is there against North Carolina. Guys, Pat Kelsey needs this road victory. Louisville, of course, needs it. I think Pat Kelsey needs it to be able to reverse those narratives.
I agree as well.
I was waiting for you to step in.
I thought you had a.
You're just staring off into space. I was like, what are you doing?
Usually, when you're like staring at me, your point's not over yet. So I thought you were just going to.
I just stare at you in general.
I mean, I know. I appreciate that. But no, I agree. Like, we're at a
Do you
point,
just not want me to look at you now? Like, do you not want me to look at you until my point's over?
I can't get over this quarter zip you're wearing. I mean, you just look like the most basic man I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't. I can point you out of a crowd of 10,000.
Do you want to tell the do you want to tell the story on air?
I think I already have, haven't I?
No. You told it to Roman off air.
Oh, well, one time we had Grant on, Grant Skaggs, of the 3-man front with me, Roman, and Grant.
Uh-huh.
And, Dalton got to meet Grant, this and that. And then Grant and I went to, was it the South Carolina State? No, it's NJIT. We watched the NJIT game.
Was it that long ago?
It was that long ago.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100%. Because that was the last game I think we've been to at home together. Like when we were
okay. Gosh.
And we were like going up to our seats because we sit in the upper level. And he looks down and he goes, "Is that Dalton Pence?" And I want you to know we are up in the 300s, okay? Like this is as high as you could get. I look down and he's just pointing his finger in the crowd of at least 2,000 or 3,000 people. I'm like, that is Dalton Pence. It's just Dalton, like just normal, he's just wearing a quarter zip with the jacket over.
He phrased it like, is Dalton the guy that wears the jacket and pants?
Yes.
And I'm like, are we serious?
Yes, that's how he said it. And I looked down, and immediately as he said it, I looked down, and for sure, there was Dalton Pence wearing the jacket and quarter zip and pants. I said, you know what? Now that I think back on it.
This is the first time I've worn a quarter zip here in a while.
Now that I think back on it, there have been about 3 or 4 instances at Louisville basketball games or football games where I have seen Dalton Pence through a crowd, and I knew it was him because of the back of his head. I'm being serious.
That's even worse. Like, how do you know it from the back of my head?
Dalton is just the most recognizable man I've ever seen in the city of Louisville. In a city where everybody knows each other, everybody knows Dalton.
And the bad part about it is I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing that you can realize it's me by just looking at the back of my head.
You can never get away with the crime. What's that? You guys have seen The Other Guys, right?
Yeah.
You know what's that? The app, the Backface or whatever, Faceback, the app that Will Ferrell creates.
Oh.
It
I
scans the back.
I was like, what are you talking
It scans your face and tells you what the back of their head looks like.
about? 502-414-1450, the Game Day Men's Health text line. No, it's relevant to the discussion. We got off on a little bit of a tangent, but I mean, if you don't want me to look at you until my point's over with, I will do that for you, Matt.
Pat Kelsey does really need this win. And not only Pat
Great
Kelsey,
segue.
but the team needs this win because we've already talked about it for the entire first 30 minutes is that you don't have a true signature quad 1A victory. You haven't ever beaten a team ranked away before. It's one where if you can get this one, I don't care how ugly it looks, if you can somehow pull this out, I get that Caleb Wilson isn't there. Thank you, Dalton. You're making me feel a lot less nervous. If you can pull this one out, you make me feel a lot less nervous going into March or going to the final stretch of games because I feel that, okay, you finally got over the hump of you played one of these tournament teams in a tournament-like setting, in a tournament-like atmosphere. You overcame the adversity, and you showed that you know how to make the proper adjustments and great game plan game to game for these teams. You're not just going out there with, this is our identity, hopefully we can beat people with it.
I don't disagree. Ro?
I'm back.
Congratulations.
Mike is fixed. Mike is good to go.
This is why it's easier
Sometimes
with
it's
Roman,
not about
look at me.
Sometimes it's not about the stuff we say on air, it's about the microphones that we fix along the way. Would you agree?
I mean, that's the best thing you've ever said.
You got to keep these mics hot. You got to keep them on and going no matter what. That's what we do here at the Big X.
Does it make a difference to you all that North Carolina is a perfect 15-0 at home?
A little bit, because that makes it even bigger of a chance to do something that no one else has done this season, to show that you can be in a team that's in a category of, I would put at elite, not just because you beat UNC on their home floor, but you handle business in ways that other good teams haven't been able to this season.
So let me ask you a follow-up, and this is what I was teasing at about 5:50. What changes now with Caleb Wilson out? Like, how does it change your perception? Like, if you win this game, how much does it take away from the significance because their best players out?
Not a lot. Not a lot. I do think that there are certain aspects of what North Carolina was with Caleb Wilson that we won't get. That kind of cutthroat, intense aspect in a close game. When they need a bucket, they're going to go out there and give it to their go-getter. They don't have that aspect to them now. So in a close game situation, I expect us to have the advantage there. Outside of that, Dalton, where they would have a lack of something that they would need, this is still a really, really good team with a lot of size. That it just did that thing again earlier where it just cut off my board.
It did that to me 2 days ago.
Take was so bad. System
They just didn't even want me to hear anything
override.
else. But this UNC team, there's still a lot of size on it. They still have the ability to rebound extremely well. They defend the 2-point baskets at a very, very, very high level.
Well, good news is we don't shoot those.
There you go. But that's signs of a team that's a good team. That's signs of a team that is a tournament-esque caliber defensive team. If you can go out there and beat them on their home floor, that's a sign that your offense is meeting that mark of being at least an offensive side that can go out there and beat tournament teams. So that's what we want to see tonight.
You know what people don't talk about from Virginia's win over Louisville at all when you look at Virginia's resume? It doesn't have an asterisk next to that win and said Michael Brown Jr. was out. Yeah, does it take – look, if your argument is that it takes away some significance from the win, I'm not going to argue with you. I think it's not as impressive of a win if you would have beat UNC at full strength. Caleb Wilson's one of the best players in the country. He's a unique talent, and what he does well is like kryptonite for Louisville. Caleb Wilson could be like a 20-20 player against Louisville because he's got that skill set. But beating North Carolina – at North Carolina with that Caleb Wilson's not going to tarnish this victory. It's still going to be a solid Q1A W in the win column on the resume. And now the talk goes from, well, Louisville can't win a road game against a good team to, okay, yeah, Caleb Wilson was out, but look, Louisville still beat Carolina. Like Vegas believes Louisville should win. They're anywhere from like a 1.5 to 3.5 point favorite, but it's still supposed to be a very, very close game. It just depends on which Carolina team shows up because when they play at home with that Caleb Wilson, they're good. But when they go on the road outside of Syracuse, like they got blown out at NC State, so are you going to get that UNC team or are you going to get the one that we saw this past weekend that had Henry Visar dominating Syracuse and Seth Trimble leading the way. So, I mean, it depends on which Carolina team you're going to get, but with them being 15-0 at home, you got to think you're going to get their best shot.
This is also a team that, with Caleb Wilson on their team, took it to the brink against Kentucky in Rupp Arena, and you can make an argument they kind of scraped away with a win right there. That was earlier in the season, obviously.
They also beat Duke.
It's like Duke.
They're frustrating.
But they were also, weren't they down 20 in that game, and Duke let them come back into it?
They got beat by double digits against SMU. Like this, North Carolina is just so frustratingly inconsistent. You just never know what you're going to get. It's kind of like Louisville.
This is one where, to the point you made, that just like when Michael Brown was out, and there was the whole confusion of like, gosh, we're not winning any of these big games, but the net rankings and the metrics still love Louisville, and we're like, Louisville fans are confused as to what's going on. Why are we still in these rankings? Why are we? It's the same exact thing with UNC, where they know that Caleb Wilson's more than likely going to be back, so they still love this team with Caleb Wilson. So it doesn't take away from the fact that if you win this game, it's still a great victory. It's not just one on paper, but it is one for the mentality of this team moving forward. It's one for the momentum of this team moving forward. It's one where I also believe that this UNC team is vulnerable. They have their issues, and if you can catch them slowly on an off night, Louisville has the offensive firepower to keep them at bay and keep them at arm's reach to be able to get a big win like that. But you cannot turn the ball over 18 times on somebody else on UNC's floor. They will beat us by 30.
I mean, there was a time in early January where opposing lead guards were dissecting this North Carolina defense surgically. Like Boobie Miller, who was the other one?
Wake Forest point guard.
Yeah, there was a third one though, and I just lost that tweet. I was looking at the tweet. Hold on, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up momentarily because I just had it up. It was Boobie Miller, it was Nate Calmise from Wake Forest, and it was Ibuka Okori from Stanford.
Okori, that's right.
Who had 36 points and 9 assists. Calmise had 28 points, 9 assists. Boobie Miller had 27 and 12 assists. Now, Seth Trimble's a really good defender. But I think that, like, to win this game, like, Louisville's got to utilize what's supposed to be their biggest advantage, and that's the backcourt. I think that's step one of two. Like, your backcourt has to be better than UNC, and it has to be considerably better because you're playing them on the road in Chapel Hill. So all the same things that we regurgitate before every game, like getting off to a strong start, especially on the road, it's key because you have to. You can't let this Chapel Hill crowd, just dictate this from the very beginning because that's one of the crowds that can. And then you have to be able to hold your own. I think Henry Visar is a matchup nightmare. I think with his ability to score on the basket, he's very efficient, but he can also stretch the floor and hit the three. He can get other players in foul trouble, which we have seen, unfortunately, with Sinan Defru, feels like more often than not lately. And his willingness and effectiveness crashing the boards. So I think that Louisville's front court versus Henry Visar is also going to be a discussion because Louisville's got to be able to deal with that physicality and that athleticism. And it's not only Frew. Like, Frew has to play much better than he has been the past couple of games. But it's also Zugris when he comes in for a couple minutes. Ali Khalifa has to be serviceable on defense. And
I don't know if that's happening tonight.
It just goes to show you, like, your front court has to be collectively better. It can't be a complete net loss unless your backcourt is just flat out dominating.
Being the best in the country.
I just need Ollie when he's on the post and somebody's posting him up. I don't care if it's a guard or if it's a center. I don't care. If he just keeps his arms just straight up and he just plays defense in the paint as if he's a small guard,
you'll probably deter them away.
He would have double the efficiency. It's because every time someone goes into his chest, he like puts his arms downward on top of them as if he's trying to like swat the ball down. Just keep your arms up, Ollie, please. Just stand straight up. You're like 7 foot tall. Keep your arms up.
I think the issue is that when he's not hitting three-pointers, his impact on the court is, like, at best, a net neutral because of the defensive issues? Like, he's got to be on his game. I think it's just a collective thing. Like, it's a mindset thing for me because part of it is, Louisville's got to match up well with North Carolina X's and O's-wise. The other part of it is that Louisville can't just get flustered in this game. Last year, Cardinals were so good with adversity. They owned the final 8 minutes of every game. Maybe that's because the schedule was not as strong. But this year it feels like in clutch situations, like half the time Louisville's showing up, half the time they're just kind of not, lack of better terms, and you can't let the opposing crowd and atmosphere and the opposing team to get you off your game. You can't get flustered so quickly. And I think the other part of this is mental. Like, the Cardinals got to go into this game playing free. Because when they play uptight, what happens? They force a lot of three-pointers. They foul a lot. They're out of position defensively. And before you know it, you're down by 15 in the first half. Because this can go one of two ways. Louisville goes toe-to-toe with Carolina, or they get blown off the floor, and we're having the same conversation we have.
If they get blown off the floor, and
I don't even want to talk
I'm just saying.
about it,
I'm just
man.
saying. And by blow off the floor, I mean, let's say 13 plus. I don't even think 20 is. I'm saying 13 plus.
If you could be about double digits.
If you could be by double digits, how does that kind of direct your thought process moving forward towards the end of the season, going towards March?
I mean, I think this is a must-win game for that reason. And I'm going to explain what I mean when we come back. Don't go anywhere. You're tuned in to Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio. Hi, this is Dalton Pence with Big X Sports Radio. Are you looking bell. When I heard the Still Tippin' instrumental come back on, Rome, just to fill you in on what we were looking at, Matt had an article up that was basically listing or ranking the top quarterbacks in college football over the 2000s. I'm going to let you guess. I'm going to give you 2 guesses on who number 1 was on this list. And if you get it, I will just give you $100.
What the what's of 2000?
Top 100 quarterbacks of the 2000s.
College quarterbacks.
Top 100 quarterbacks of the 2000s.
Oh, I'm sorry. This says according to ESPN.
ESPN's wrong.
This is from a different. According to ESPN.
See, they have some crazy. What, Baker Mayfield at number 1?
Oh my God!
First of all, Kyler Murray is over Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I don't understand.
So
are they clickbaiters now? Is that just what it is?
ESPN Oklahoma City came out with these rankings, huh? ESPN Norman came out with these rankings.
I guess so.
All right, let's 2 segments down, 2 segments to go here on this February 23rd.
Who do you think
edition.
100 is? Who do you think the last quarterback on this list is?
Probably like Cam Ward.
Fernando Mendoza was 14th.
Fernando Mendoza was 14th.
Which
Johnny Manziel was 13th.
I thought you were going to say Johnny was 100th. I was like,
No.
so
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know.
Manziel was like
He's
60.
Will Gardner?
Really, really recent.
Will Gardner?
No. Roman, you got to guess? Really recent.
Malik Cunningham.
Teddy Bridgewater was 84th.
Trinidad Shameless.
No. J.J. McCarthy is the 100th best quarterback of the 2000s.
Oh my gosh. Carried by his defense.
I don't disagree, but I always want to say, like, welcome back to this Monday edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence, but I'm like, it's kind of redundant. I mean, duh.
On a Monday, my favorite Monday of the week, probably the 3rd Monday of the month.
Yeah, it feels like the 2nd Monday of the week with how today's Monday's been dragging by because I'll be honest with you guys, I think this is a must-win game. And before you all get completely in the mindset of, oh, well, it's not technically a must-win. Of course it's not. Your season doesn't end if you lose to North Carolina, but when you factor in the context and the high stakes of this game, this is a must-win for Louisville across a couple of different fronts. The first one is because if you are trying to be a team that is fighting for good seeding, you need a quality win. And right now, Clemson's on a skid. That game might not even be a Q1A for the rest of the season. Miami's kind of right there on the fringe of a quad 1A win. This is like, without a doubt, always going to be Q1A, even if North Carolina loses out.
Especially because didn't you just lose Baylor as a quad 1?
No, it's still a quad 1 at the moment, I think.
Still is?
I looked at it last night.
Oh, okay.
Cincinnati's almost a quad 1 now with how they've been performing. It's a better win than Kentucky by the numbers.
I don't think that's going to hold up.
Crazy.
Depending on some numbers.
I don't trust Wes Miller at all.
But here's the thing. I think that this is a must-win because you need it to improve your seeding. You need it to give you that signature win you're looking for. You need it to give you a good road win. You need it for the narrative. And you need it. I think the fan base just needs it. Like, we've been calling for this team to show up and show out against all of the top road games on the schedule. And more often than not, you're getting embarrassed. This is your opportunity to say, hey, look, maybe they're without Caleb Wilson, but we're going to go out there and we're going to give the Tar Heels their first loss in Chapel Hill.
Who cares? Just take it as an advantage. Be like, look, I'm sorry. Look, I'm a person who I want to play against the best teams in the country at their highest capacity. But
quad 1 opportunity, they don't have a lottery pick.
When we didn't have Michael, nobody cared.
Yeah, you never heard somebody apologizing to us for beating us by 30. No, like, go out there, take advantage of the
Tennessee
situation
didn't
you're
blink
in.
an eye when Michael didn't play in that game. Like, go out and win the damn game because you know what? If you lose it, then you're like, oh, look, you just lost North Carolina, and they don't have Caleb Wilson. They just got blown out by NC State.
Because when Caleb Wilson comes back and they beat whatever team they're playing by 25 or whatever, they're not even going to think about, oh, well, he didn't play against Louisville. He can play. It's going to be over by that point. Get a resume-building victory. Come out there. If you start slow, stop the game immediately. Do something about it. Make an adjustment early. Just do not
This
stick.
is a game where you have to prove that you belong. I think that's another thing. It's like this is like, look at. I'm gonna read you the top 25 games tonight. Okay, here are the top 25 games. There are 2 of them. Louisville and North Carolina at 7 on ESPN. Houston and Kansas on ESPN at 9. So, standalone, primetime games where the nation is once again watching you and trying to figure out, are the Louisville Cardinals legit? Because, sure, they've won 20 games. they look cool in the net ranking and the Ken Palm and the Torvik and their top 25 in the wins above the bubble. But every time I see them play a road game against a good team, they get outmatched. Are you going to prove that narrative and just confirm what people know, or are you going to reverse the narrative and say, oh, wow, Louisville actually took it to North Carolina and beat them on the road? Yeah, they're missing Cale Wilson, but oh, well, this is a different team than what we saw. That's what people want to know. The committee is watching this game. This is a must-win for the Louisville Cardinals, and I don't like to be, like, super extreme about it. I don't know how you can't consider this a must-win.
You heard it here first. Season's over if we lose this game, according to Dalton Pence.
I think it is.
Have some shame.
I think it is.
But like, if you lose this game, how do you get that mojo back? I mean, of course you're going to be, as a fan, you're going to be cautiously optimistic about everything. So if you lose North Carolina, guess what? I'm going to wake up Saturday morning ready to cheer Louisville on against Clemson because that's who I am as a fan.
We're looking at this in a very negative light in terms of you have to win this game or all it's gonna fail. We need to look at this as an opportunity here in the terms of if you win this game.
Yeah, it's a mindset thing. You're not looking at it negatively. You're like, okay, the opportunity's there if you want to springboard yourself.
You win this game, you change the entire narrative of what we've seen this season. You've shown the fan base that you can make the proper adjustments. You've shown the fan base that this team can buy in at the correct moments and play in those March-esque environments. You now propel yourself going into March with easily the best victory on your season, and it's a good one by the metrics, too. It's not just one you can hang your hat on and say, well, for us, that's a good win.
Yes.
This is one that the entire country, like Dalton said, will look at
net,
on
the paper.
On Big Monday where the entire country's watching. They're going to say, holy crap, Louisville just went in to UNC, who's 15-0 at home this season, put the belt on them, and then they're going to go into a Clemson team that's on a skid right now. There is a good chance they can win out in this series, in this season, and get up to a 4 seed. You have to win this game. You could change the mindset of the entire fan base.
I don't disagree. Bro?
Romy?
I think it's critical. I think it's critical for the end of your season. I'm not going to call it a must-win just because you do have Clemson and you do have Miami. I will say, though, in terms of getting everybody on notice and keeping the committee on standby for what you are, go out there and exceed the expectation tonight. And that's win this game and win this game comfortably. Yes, they're down. They're still good. They're still good on paper. They're still good in all of the not all of the computer metrics. They're not as evenly matched on some of the net rankings and NCAA rankings that you would think, but it still is a team that is in the tournament as we stand. This is a team that hasn't lost. You can go out there and get a big boost in your rankings, and they should be beatable without Caleb Wilson. We've seen that.
What is the number one key to victory tonight?
Sananda Frew.
You can only pick one. Is it Frew?
Well, it's the front court. It's the front court winning the rebound matchup and playing harder than the other team. You have to want against the opponent like this who does a good job of staying home, playing their game plan, and allowing the game to kind of come to them defensively. You've got to go out there and want it on the offensive glass, and you have to go out there and establish your will as the aggressor in this game. We've kind of said that late in the season a lot, at least I have. I think Sananda Frew, Javon Hadley, and Kenai Roos as a front court trio are going to have to be the more aggressive, bigger set of guys tonight.
I think I'm going to say that I'm torn here because I think it's got to be your backcourt. Like, your backcourt needs to show up.
That's my expectation.
And I honestly, I look at a guy like Ryan Conwell who hasn't really shot the ball well outside of that one game where he almost went bucket for bucket with Michael against NC State. Let's look at the numbers for Conwell over the past month, shooting the ball wise, okay? He's still averaging 18.3, but month of February, against Notre Dame, he was 4 of 14 from the field, 1 of 9 from 3. Wake Forest, 3 of 6, 2 of 4 from 3. Not terrible. NC State, 10 of 14, 5 of 6. Incredible. Baylor, 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 5. SMU, 4 of 16, 2 of 11 from 3. Georgia Tech, 5 of 11.
Shots in that game?
Against SMU, he took 11 three-pointers.
Gosh.
He was 5 of 11 against Tech, 2 of 7 from 3. So, I mean, he hasn't been good from the three-point line. You need him to be the Ryan Conwell that we saw in November and December, and at some points in January. Like, you need him to be consistent here. We know how good of a player he is, but if Louisville wants to be at its most dangerous, you need your top two guards to deliver the biggest advantage, which should be your backcourt, Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I do kind of lean in with Roman's sentiment, though. I think that Frew needs a really good game in this game for us to win. I think the backcourt isn't going to have too much difficulty, at least in terms of like getting to the basket, finding points. Even if Ryan Conwell doesn't shoot the ball well, I think that we're going to have pretty good setup to attack the basket, get the other team in foul trouble. I feel like Michael has done a great job as of late getting to the foul line. I feel like he's kind of getting the whistle that almost all the other lottery picks in the country are getting finally. But I'm going to lean more with Roman here and say that if Frew has another outing like we've seen recently, especially with Vasar he's going up against, it's going to be really, really tough for the Cardinals to stay in this game. You need him. We don't need him to be electric. He doesn't have to have 25 and 13.
He can't get in early foul trouble like he did against SMU, where he's got 2 fouls before the first media.
It needs to be more of like what we saw the first time when Duke came to town. We played Cam Boozer, where Cam Boozer going to get a good game. You need to just make him uncomfortable. You need to make Vasar feel uncomfortable down there, that he has to make a second or third decision. He has to pull some counter moves out. You can't get into foul trouble. You can't let him play his own game. This dude, I'm talking to him like he's Cam Boozer. He's not. This guy's not.
He's good.
He's good.
And he is a mismatch on paper for the front court.
Yes.
Because he's a strong big man that has played a lot of high-level college basketball, and he knows his role. But he's not a guy that I think scores 30 points against Louisville.
No. But if you can make Cam Boozer uncomfortable to the point where you could take almost a double-digit lead going to halftime and set your team up to have a really, really good chance to win that game, you can do that against Henry Vasar. Even if we haven't seen it the past couple weeks, you need to see Frew go in there, muddy up the paint, stay out of foul trouble, and just make the dude try and play his best game of basketball to beat you.
Who's the leading scorer?
Ryan Conwell.
Okay.
I think Ryan has a big game tonight. I think that Trimble probably guards Michael, or at least a good chunk of the possessions he'll be on Michael. I think that you're going to see some inexperience at the guard position from the bench as well. I expect Ryan Conwell to take advantage of his matchup. I get the Dixon kid has a little bit of size, but I don't ultimately think he's a good enough defender to stop what Ryan Conwell does well. Yes, this is a side that does do a good job of defending without fouling, but ultimately if you don't bring enough help defense to ensure you're preventing our guards from getting downhill, we're going to just score through him if you don't foul us. So I like Ryan and Michael to both have a good game, but give me Michael on the more of the higher scoring 23, 24 kind of point night.
You mean Ryan?
Yes, Ryan, sorry.
What did he say?
He said Ryan the first time, and then he said Michael just then.
Michael, I think, is more of that 18 points, 19 points with
it's basically you have a 50% chance of getting it right, because when's the last time that Louisville's leading scorer wasn't one of those two players?
Was it Virginia and Isaac McNeely?
Not Virginia.
Are you sure? Because that, honestly, kind of sounds right.
What was the game? What was the game? Kanai was the leading scorer when he had 20.
That was the beginning of the season.
The first game of the year.
No, there was a couple. There was a game he had a double after his long skid.
It was like 12 and 10. Or 12
I'm going to look
12.
this up if this computer would let me type.
Kanai led the team in reboundings like 3 straight games, but not points.
I think Matt might be right with.
I think it's Virginia.
I'm looking this up. You all keep talking.
Not Baylor. That's when he went on his streak. Wake Forest, who led this? Frew led the team in scoring against Wake Forest. 17 points.
We need that Sananda Frew.
That was an efficient Sananda.
It was what 7?
Isaac McNeely led the team in scoring against Notre Dame. 13 points.
Oh, okay.
That's the highest amount of points.
Yes. 13 points in that game. Conwell had 12. Michael had 6. Frew had 12.
That Notre Dame game.
Kanai also had 12. So he was the leading scorer by 1 point.
Yeah, I didn't even remember
that Notre Dame game was a very forgettable game.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say it's going to be Michael Brown.
I think Michael's going to stay on the tear he's on.
I think that he's at a point now where he's showing the entire country that he is a lottery pick, and he's only going to try and move up. And now the fact that you have an opportunity to play against UNC without Caleb Wilson and you're playing on the road, I think this dude is going to have the killer mentality. I think that he's going to say, this is my opportunity to, once again, not only beat up on these teams we're better than or score against teams that aren't great defensively, but this is going to be the one where I can show it against players that have the talent at the NBA level, and he's going to get it done. I think that he doesn't – it's not going to be like a 30-point game, but I think he gets about 23, 24, and it's a pretty balanced scoring night for the team.
Yeah, I'm going Michael as well. I think that Michael is just on one of those tears to where – have you seen that? Like, you know the whole meme with the NBA trainer, Lethal Shooter? He's like, I understand it now.
Yeah.
He misses a shot. He's like, I understand it now. And then just goes unconscious from wherever he's shooting from. I think that that's kind of like with Michael. He's like, I understand it now.
Well, he trained Michael, so.
Did he? I did not know that. And it's just one of those things where something clicked for Michael. I honestly think it's just, hey, he was out for a month and a half. It took him a while to kind of get going, and he wasn't really shooting the ball well before his injury, so it took him a while to kind of find his footing, and once he did, he's been incredible. So I think he's going to continue that stretch. Honestly, I think that there's one player that can affect the outcome of this game more than anyone not named Michael Brown Jr. And I'll tell you who that is when we come back. Final segment coming up here on this pregame edition of Mondays with Dalton Pence. We'll talk to you after the break here on Big X Sports Radio. before, well, technically not before tip-off, because tip-off's going to be like 7:08 or something. So,
Well, yeah, because whatever game is going on before, they have
is
to.
there
They have,
anything going on
they have-
ESPN
what-
before this?
whatever's happening, they have to extend it so
First take, the rerun of First Take.
so that we jump into the game 5 minutes late. That's what they have to do.
Jay Billis alongside Dan Schulman here. First media timeout in Chapel Hill. The Cardinals leading
Sorry to take you away
17-4.
from Real Housewives of Atlanta, but we're here with the Louisville Cardinals playing the UNC Tar Heels. We'll be back in about 5 minutes after we've already been down 20-0.
Louisville Cardinals are the favorite in this game. I believe still is on FanDuel. Rome, you got anything going in on this game?
Not at the moment.
I've got 4 legs, and I want you all to tell me what you think. So I did like they've got a 30% boost on FanDuel where you can do like Louisville, North Carolina, and Kansas, Houston. So I've got a 7-leg parlay, 30%, $10 pays like 118. Okay, there's 3 Kansas legs, and I mean honestly, they're not the greatest legs, but here's the Louisville legs: Michael 20+ points,
like it.
Hadley 10+ points. Hadley's been like 10+.
Yep.
All
4 or 5
conference
straight
play.
games, it feels like.
I've got Conwell and Frew both at 4+ rebounds.
Conwell should play long enough. We've commanded Frew to come down with more than that. So
We've commanded.
We've
Frew.
commanded.
You.
Or I shall smite you.
You must receive 4 rebounds. You must acquire 4 rebounds.
Or else, like in the middle of the game, Dalton Pence is going to stand up. Is like, that's the quarter zip guy, and you're just staring at him.
We just got word here from the ESPN broadcast on Chapel Hill. A guy with a quarter zip standing up has been identified as Dalton Pence.
Every person within a 40-mile radius
know
of
that
downtown
guy.
Louisville is like, that's it, Dalton Pence.
seems to be shouting something at Sananda Frew about his rebound.
He's just holding up the 4s, like he's just.
Sonny, get aboard.
It's like your dad in your rec league middle school game.
Are you going to main event right after this? Are you watching the game at main event?
No, I'll have to watch the game at home because I got to take care of my dogs, but I will be there for the post game.
Okay. I think I'm just going to go because they're doing like a watch party, no?
I think so. Yeah, they should be.
Because this is one of the games that I'm going to be with the State of Louisville crew post game with Jacob Lane, obviously Matt Childress. I don't know who else is going to be there. I think probably maybe Presley.
Roman will be at the gym.
Roman, where are you going to be?
Gotta hit the gym.
You're going to work out and watch the game at the same time?
Gonna try.
This dude just obliterated his legs. What happened?
I asked him. I was like,
done by 15.
because of the watch party, I was like, hey, Roman, what are you doing? Because all the State of Louisville guys are going over there. He's like, I'll be at the gym. I was like, oh, sorry, my fault.
Be on the treadmill yelling.
So
It's not good enough.
So Roman's over here talking down to me. Sorry, guys, I can't worry about your silly little basketball game. I got to go get these games.
Sir, this is a Wendy's. Louisville has announced the starting lineups. It is the starting lineup that has been the starting lineup that has been the starting lineup. Nothing too shocking there. Let's get into final predictions. Obviously, we've talked about how serious this game is for the Cardinals when it comes to seeding, for the vibes, for the narratives, for the resume. We know what Louisville's got to do on the court, but they're going to have a chance to prove themselves here in about 15 minutes. It's not call it how you see it anymore. Let's just go around the horn. Are we all going to predict a Louisville victory, or is somebody going to use that discouragement to fuel their prediction? Matt, I'm going to start with you. Is Louisville winning tonight?
Louisville does not win.
Ah.
I'm going to start out with the negative side of this. I think I just can't pick as much as Louisville definitely can win this game. They definitely have the talent. I think they've played exceptionally better as of this stretch since Mike Hill has been back. But I physically just, every time I pick Louisville to win one of these games, I'm thinking, they can do this, they can do that. They just don't. They almost like they refuse to. So I'm at the point now where until Pat Kelsey shows me he can get these kind of games done, I just can't. I can't bank on it. So I think UNC wins. I think it's an ugly game. I think they win. God, what did I say earlier, Roman? I think they win 83-81. I think is the score I gave earlier.
I got a Cards victory as well. I've got us winning 81-78. Right at covering the 2.5 points.
Said Cards victory as well. Matt just said he
I'm
doesn't
sorry.
think
I'm
Louisville
sorry.
wins.
Yeah, he picked.
Boo this man.
He picked Cards to lose tonight. And you said 88-81, I believe, earlier. So
Oh, okay. Either way,
So your confidence in North Carolina is waning.
possibly, I guess.
Okay. Don't let the cars get hot. Don't let the cars get hot, or Roman's gonna knock them down like the microphone at the start of the recording. I've got Louisville in this game. I went back and forth. I think if Caleb Wilson plays, it's a completely different story, and I think that does change my prediction. But the reality is that you're not going up against Wilson, and I think that every opportunity is there, and I keep looking at this game and coming to the same conclusion, and that's that. I mean, I'm done advocating for, well, if this team makes a run, or if this team becomes dangerous in March, or if this team can show that they can beat good teams. You just got to do it at this point. This is your opportunity, even without Wilson. That is a good team that you're playing against. It's not easy to win in Chapel Hill. In fact, nobody's been able to do it this year. This is your opportunity. I think, optimistically, Louisville gets over the hump. They win this game. It's going to be close. I think 84-81. It could be very, very uncomfortable down the stretch, but I'm going with a Louisville victory here.
So we're doing the reverse Miami game. It's both
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
against
yeah.
me this time.
Yep.
You guys want to
Yep.
put a wager on this one too?
No.
I told you all to pick a beer that you all wanted, and both of you laughed at the message and didn't tell me. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Because what were you gonna do? Gonna bring it in the studio?
Yes.
I would have drank it.
Just one beer. It's not even cold. He's like, it's been in my car all day.
My man,
off
there
work."
is a gas station in the next parking lot. I was going to go there before
Could you imagine
and
that?
get you a
Could you
beer.
imagine that conversation? He pulls in. He's like, "Oh, well, you just got 2 beers that are
I was going to
of
go get
opposite
you-
genre of
I
opposite
was going to go
flavors."
get you your non-alcoholic beverage and allow you to. I was going to go get you your Smirnoff Ice and allow you to drink it on
don't,
air.
Don't do me like that, okay? Don't do me like that. But I just
What's your
I-
go-to? What's your go-to brew?
talking about beers.
No, yes, beer.
I know.
bro.
I'm just thinking like, gosh,
What do you think it is, Rome? What do you think his favorite beer is?
it's different because with beers, it's like it's the situation you're in.
You seem like a Coors Light.
Nah, he's definitely a natty light guy.
No, I'm not that. Even in college, I
You're a
was called
Bush Light guy.
No, that's,
Don't lie.
Bush Light
Bush
apples.
Light red apple.
Bush Light apples. That's
Uh-huh.
different. That's completely
Hey.
different.
Don't hate on the red apples.
Oh, I'm not.
If I'm
Sam
just
Adams
going
guy.
out somewhere, it's probably a Mick Ultra.
Texter said Matt's afraid to drink a beer.
That's crazy.
I didn't say it. Texter said it.
More of a bourbon guy, but
Yeah. So,
Matt's got like 4 or 5 pictures of him on his Instagram drinking beer.
true. That's true.
but what's the favorite one?
If I'm like out with my friends,
No, like if I asked
Oh,
you
just
what
my
beer that you
favorite.
wanted right now, what would you tell me?
oh, Blue Moon,
Modelo.
Okay, that's respectful. Why'd you not respond with it then?
because I was thinking of like what situation I'm in. If I'm at a football game, I'm not getting a Blue Moon.
The same texter says Matt's afraid to drink a beer. Says probably movie prop beers.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
probably fake beers. It's actually a can of water with the beer logo
I'm
on it.
I'm just thinking of like Dalton shows up to the gas station before the show with 2 different varieties of beer, just 2.
And nobody would bat a single eye.
And they're like, "Oh, what's this for?" He's like,
No
"Gotta
one
do a
would ask
radio
that.
show."
No one would ask that. That's the thing. You're just creating scenarios because you didn't tell me what beer you wanted.
I don't think Roman told
In
me.
all this span, because you picked North Carolina to win. So who's really at fault here?
That's fine.
Okay, so
If I
if-
lose, let me know what beer y'all want. I'll bring y'all beer.
I will literally text you after the game
Okay.
and just text you a beer.
I'll keep it in my car up until next Monday.
See, that's disrespectful. I would have gone to the gas station to get you one. Now you're just being obtuse.
I think I'm being cute. Well, Family Guy reference.
Let me
there.
ask you all this as we've got about probably about 8 minutes or so. Does it let's say hypothetically, because we're covering all the bases here. If Louisville were to lose tonight, let's say they lose by 2 points, do you feel different about a 2-point loss versus like a 12-point loss? Or is a loss still a loss in this situation?
Loss is still a loss.
I feel a little bit differently. I mean, it feels like that. If that was what the case was, and you probably had a chance to win, that makes me feel better than if we go and lose by like to a Caleb Wilson-less UNC side by 12.
The only way I'll combat you on that, Roman, is did you feel like that after Virginia? Because they brought
No.
that down to what, 3?
Yeah.
With a chance to tie?
We lost it though.
Well, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care if it's 2 points or if it's 10 points, it's still a loss.
You're right.
Maybe the way in which they lose, I think maybe the discourse is different if you lose like in a very close way, but if you're getting beat by double digits at any point in this game.
If it's like SMU, then that 2-point loss is different. I will say that makes me feel a little better than, getting blown out. But if it's like the Virginia loss where we have to fight our way back the whole game and you still don't pull it out, then I don't care. It's still a loss. Like you said, it depends on how it happens.
Flipping the script, if Louisville wins this game by 2 versus 15, like how much
Doesn't
it
matter.
change?
It's a win. Don't care.
But even beating them by 15 doesn't change things in your mind?
I mean, it makes me feel better, but like I just like.
Would
I
you
said
feel
earlier-
even more stupid about your prediction pregame?
No, I wouldn't. I hope they use it as fuel. I hope
The person apologized, and I literally typed back and said, "You're forgiven." Sorry I lashed out because Matt picked UNC. Sad face.
Sorry,
I literally
lashed
texted back and
out.
said, "You're forgiven."
I don't like how their lashing out was against me and they apologized to you.
Have you picked a loss all year?
No,
Oh, no.
not in football or basketball.
But maybe he's cooking here then, because he's picked us to win on the road and we've been getting blown out. Maybe if he picks us to lose, you know what we got to do.
now you
Everybody
see-
go put 10 on UNC on
Now you
FanDuel.
see, if that was my plan originally, then you just ruined it by calling it out.
No, that's not how sports
That's how it works.
No, it's not. How would you know how it
That's
works?
how superstitions work.
How would you know how
You
it
can't
works?
acknowledge the
You
superstition.
won't even tell me what beer you won after a big win. How can I trust you on
so
knowing what
that's
superstitions
a different
are?
situation. So after a win, I'm probably sitting down, I'm enjoying myself.
Not enjoying
That
yourself too
one's
much.
tough. That
You
was
didn't take
tough.
many victory laps.
Hmm.
You know what's crazy is it's not like I forgot to text you all or refused to text you all. I asked you all. I was trying to be the better person, going the high road. You're right, fellas. I was wrong. What beer do you want? Ha ha reaction. I come to the studio and I'm like, oh, okay.
I thought it was a joke.
I thought it was a joke too, honestly. If we're being transparent, I thought it was a joke. I was
Okay,
fully expecting to just walk in and there just be like 3 beers in here.
Oh, so you were just assuming that I was going to give you beer without you telling me what beer you want.
Because I didn't care. We're all just sharing a beer.
That's all you had to say was you didn't care.
That's what the ha ha.
And
was
guess
for.
what? No, it wasn't.
I don't like how you're yelling at me right now.
You weren't making any adjustments. on
You're
the
making
fly.
you're making a lot of eye contact and yelling at me. Is there,
Okay,
is
my
that
fault.
okay?
My fault.
I'm upset. I'm angry. I'm triggered now. You know what? Louisville's winning tonight.
No, don't do that. Don't
Nope,
do that.
Nope. Stay
I'm
in that lane.
I'm just kidding.
Stay in that lane.
Calm down, guys. I'm kidding. They're still losing. They're still losing. It's gonna be embarrassing.
But I get where you're coming from, man. At the
Michael's
end of the
dropping
day,
out of the top 5.
It's hard to feel
Coming
confident
back
about
for a second season.
Louisville doing something they haven't done yet under Pat Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean
I mean, you do have to prove it. And
that's where I'm at.
I also think that there's more pressure on you because you're the favorite in this game.
Favorite to go do something you haven't done yet.
I mean, you're
Tough.
minus 3.5. Like, I get it. If you lose this game by 2, like as a standalone game, it might not matter. But because you see the trend, and it's like, man, Louisville's just got to go get that win. They haven't had that win since Pat Kelsey's been the coach.
No.
Pat Kelsey needs this. Louisville needs this. Matt Childress needs this.
I'm telling you, if you just win this, you are in a situation where you can forget everything you did in this season. If you go and you get this win at North Carolina, you change the mentality of almost everybody in the fan base.
I'm still mad about Georgia Tech.
I wouldn't be.
Nobody cares about the Georgia Tech game if you win tonight, by the way.
No, because there's gonna be the thought process of, Georgia Tech's really bad. Maybe Pat Kelsey was planning ahead. He says that he doesn't do that, but maybe he was. You tried out a bunch of different defensive systems in that game. You did a lot of things you're not used to doing. You were kind of uncomfortable. But if you go out and you win this game at UNC, you buy everybody back in immediately. It takes one, and you have it in front of you right now. Go take it.
I'm watching the game in the Big X Sports Radio studios.
Let's do it. We can all hold hands. We'll light candles. Maybe
Rome's got to go to the gym.
Dalton go get us some beers.
No, we're past that point. Rome's got to go to the gym. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna live stream it on Big X. I'm sure the powers that be would love
Roman,
it.
just don't turn the mics off. We'll just talk while the game's going on.
Dalton Pence here with Matt Childress in Big X Sports Radio studios. Oh man. Oh man. But this is a critical week, right? I mean, I don't want to make it seem like North Carolina is where, of course, the rubber meets the road. It is, but you beat North Carolina, you can ride that high, but you still have a challenging rest of the way. I think that this just needs to serve as the foundation. Like, just because you beat North Carolina is great, but it's not like this season-defining win just because you beat them. Like, part of me is like, yeah, beating North Carolina would be a huge feat, but it's being talked about more because you haven't been able to live up to the standard of what Louisville basketball has meant. And that's kind of where it's like, yeah, maybe, oh, well, North Carolina's not, they don't have Caleb Wilson. Why are you talking about this game like it's an Elite Eight matchup? You have to look at the context and understand that, like, Louisville has not proven that they can go and beat a good team on the road up until this point. They've got to show that. And this game is more important. This is a must-win game because of your inability to do that through the first couple months of the season. So, get it done. That hashtag get it done. That's the game plan. Like, you have to win this game, in my opinion, if you are serious about potentially being a top 4 seed, if you're serious about strengthening your resume and taking away the main thing that people are saying about you. You don't like that people are trashing your resume because you don't have a signature win? Cool. Prove them wrong tonight. You've got the opportunity. You've got the ability.
I like it.
You got to go take it.
That's all that I'm saying. We'll wrap things up here. We got about another minute, but everything that we needed to say has been said. Cards and Tar Heels coming up, ESPN momentarily. Matt and I will have a post-game breakdown over at the State of Louisville Live right after the game. Be sure to tune in. You've tuned in to Mondays with Dalton Pence here on Big X Sports Radio. Go Cards.
This is Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk. The Big X, AM 1450 and 96.1 FM, WXVW Jeffersonville.